On the other side of the Druid skill tree, we have Wind and Cold skills, which for the most part overlap with other characters or slots, so today we actually have a relatively short dive into just 2 Wind skills, which are special since they are some of the few pure physical damage spells in the game, with Twister and Tornado only sharing that distinction with 2 other spells, the Werebear skill Shockwave and the Barbarian skill Warcry. This gives them a handful of advantages over other spells for late game play since physical immunity is far less common, and there are a handful of relatively budget options for breaking them, unlike elemental resists which tend to require more expensive tools to beat. The fact that these skills are synergized with solid cold damage skills like Hurricane makes it even easier to justify their use since physical cold immune combos are fairly uncommon outside of certain unique packs. The big drawback of these skills, not only compared to other physical spells, but spells in general, is that they both come from the same school of design as abilities like Charge Bolt, Firestorm, etc., where they have somewhat chaotic pathing that can make them somewhat difficult to aim. So the general strategy is to get your casting speed up, boost your durability with blocking and Oak Sage, and actually get into melee range with opponents while using Hurricane alongside these skills. This is to ensure a higher likelihood of hitting and guarantee you are hitting the opponents with your area of effect skills. Starting with Twister, the little brother and sadly overlooked spell of the pair, we have a stunning skill, and one I use far more than is probably responsible because it's just so good at locking down packs of enemies, at least whenever you can spam them. My favorite combo with it being launching one set of Twisters quickly followed by a few Tornadoes, rinse, and repeat. Obviously with slower casting speeds it will be a little more frustrating, but it will still get the job done. Now with 2.4, it got a bit of a damage boost, which makes the argument for using it a bit stronger, and it makes my favorite version of the Wind Druid more fun to play, though it still won't quite keep up with its bigger brother as far as sheer DPS goes, mostly because the Twisters have a rather long next delay compared to other spells, sitting at a whopping 1 second long, and unlike Tornado, which has a similar next delay, Twister only deals its damage and effect on missile, so it can't bypass the damage delay in any form. Though speaking of Tornado, this is a skill that is horribly misunderstood by, well, most people, since it's actually a dual effect skill, despite only having one visual indicator. Much like Twister, it has a big randomly pathed cyclone that travels the map and deals damage. This visible missile has next delay effects just like Twister and suffers from the second long delay between when it can deal damage with the actual missile and whenever something else with next delay can deal damage as well. Though, as mentioned, it has a second effect, a periodic damage radius that is unaffected by the damage next delay, meaning if an enemy is in range, it will take damage. This effect fires off the Tornado every 15 frames, or essentially 5 times over the Tornado's 3-second lifespan, once at launch and 4 during the travel unless something stops the Tornado's path. This aura effect is why Tornado is so much more preferred over Twister, and more effective at proper killing, not necessarily just the raw damage difference, since the periodic damage will apply regardless of when the target was hit last, and you can even stack multiple Tornado auras on a single target if you have a high enough fast cast rate. Overall, these 2 cornerstone skills of the Wind branch are a lot more powerful than they look on paper, one for control, the other for just raw damage. And despite some players looking at them as support for Hurricane, the reality is often the other way around. The Hurricane is there to help your Tornado build, not the other way around. So, do you like Wind Druids, or do you prefer your skills that don't randomly path? Mention it down below, and if you want to know more about the hot topic of 2.4 Elementalist builds, check out the video on screen now. And as always, keep gaming, have fun, and peace out. This has been Alzorath. Bye.